Hi, welcome back to another video. If you don't know me, my name is Jordan and thanks for watching my channel. Today's just gonna be a little story time, basically. I think my voice, but today's gonna be just like a little story time on basically how I became an athletic trainer. If you don't know, now you know, but I'm an athletic trainer. That's what I do. And let's first start off with what an athletic trainer is. So basically an athletic trainer is a first responder to sports teams. It could be sports teams, it could be other stuff, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm basically a first responder for a sports team. So I work with a lot of different sports. So when an athlete gets injured and you see those people like running on the field to like check to see if they're okay and kind of figure out what's wrong with them, that's me. So I evaluate injuries, I work with them for rehabs, I talk to them about like nutrition plans, I send them off for like emergencies. I'm doing like prevention protocols, all that stuff. So basically that's what an athletic trainer is, and how I got interested in it was like I grew up playing all the sports. I grew up playing soccer, I grew up playing softball, I played basketball. In middle school I did cross country. I figure skated when I was younger, I danced. I kind of did it all basically. But I was introduced to an athletic trainer when I was in high school, and shout out to Tiff if you're watching this. Yeah, she's the one who made me want to become an athletic trainer. She was an athletic trainer at my high school, and she worked with all the sports teams that we had at the high school. So yeah, if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes to make sure I hit every point. So basically when I was in high school, I was like, how did you become an athletic trainer? And she kind of showed me the way. But what I did was I looked up every like undergrad that had athletic training as a major, which you can go to school for other stuff like exercise science, sports medicine to become an athletic trainer, but I wanted the direct access to become an athletic trainer. So I went for a degree for athletic training. So I looked for a major in athletic training. So I ended up going to California University of Pennsylvania, shout out Cal U, and they had athletic training as a major. So when I was there, at Cal U, it was weird, and I don't know if all programs are like this, but your freshman year you take all the basic classes like anatomy, psychology, health, and like the English and math, you know, all the stuff that you need. And we had to test in to get into the athletic training program. So you had to take the basic test about like anatomy and all that stuff. You had to maintain all your regular classes as a C or above. And then you also had to do an interview with like the main teachers that were in the athletic training program. So yeah, so I did that, and unfortunately I didn't make it in. So I didn't make it in my first year as a freshman going into sophomore year to, you know, have athletic training as my major. So I was kind of like, I don't know what to do. Am I about to switch majors to sports management? I don't really know what to do with that. But yeah, so then I was like, I'm gonna try again. I don't care, I'm gonna try again. So my sophomore year, I kind of took more classes that were kind of random but around athletic training. So I took kinesiology, I took I forget what else I took, but that was like the main class. And whenever that spring semester came back around, I tested again. Well, actually no, so back up. So the classes that I did take were, I took kinesiology, I took psychology, and I took anatomy again, because those were the classes that I kind of didn't do so well on. I think I got a C- in those classes. So I wanted to make sure I got a B or an A in that classes. And I retook both psychology and anatomy, which I retook psychology and got an A instead of a C. And then I retook anatomy and got a A- or a B+, one of the two, instead of a C-. So I retook those classes, and then I tried to get into the athletic training major again. And whenever I did tests, I did all that, I did the interview, all that great stuff, and then I ended up getting in. So I got into my athletic training program my sophomore year, but technically in the athletic training program there's like, you have to do 3 more years after you get into the athletic training program. So when you get in after your freshman year, you'll do 3 more years. So that'll be your 4 years. But since I didn't get in until my sophomore year, I would have to do 5 years, if that makes sense. So once I got in, I took the regular classes, the athletic training classes. You'll see if you look up like the curriculum for an athletic training major, I took all those classes. And then after my 5th year, you take a board certified test, and that makes you certified. So it's called a BOC, and basically your classes that like you major in should get you prepared to take this board certified test. You take it just like, let me give you an example. So like, you know how high schoolers, we take an SAT to get into college. You go somewhere, a designated location, you take this test and you get a score. It's just like the board certified test. So you go to a location, you take the test, and if you score a certain amount, you pass and you become certified. So I went to take this test, and unfortunately I didn't pass my first time. So I know, it sucks. I was defeated. I didn't know what to do, all that stuff. And I was determined to become this because I'm like, I just took 5 years of undergrad and I need to pass this test. So I ended up rescheduling my test for like 3 months later, because my original test was in May. Was it in May? Yeah, I think it was in May or April, one of the two. And then I retook it in June. I forget. But I retook it, and then I ended up passing my second time. Oh, my battery's low. Let me get right back with y'all. All right, you guys, so I'm back. But like I was saying, yeah, so I ended up passing my second time. I took my boards test. And then I decided, well, even before I took my board test, I decided I wanted to go get a master's degree once I graduated. I'm not sure what like schools are doing what, but now athletic training is starting to transition into a master's level course. So what that means is that I know that my school, and I think like my grad school, is both doing it, but whenever you go in as a freshman, you go for athletic training, and then when you graduate, you'll graduate with a master's degree. So instead of having to go to grad school, it's already a 5-year master's program. So you do 4 years undergrad, and then you do that extra year, and you'll end up getting your master's degree, which is nice. But so I ended up deciding I wanted to go to grad school. I applied to actually like I applied to 4 different schools, and I heard back from 2 schools, which was the University of Pittsburgh and Ithaca College in New York. So I went to both, visited both, and as you may know, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I kind of was leaning towards Pitt anyways, but I wanted to check out and, you know, expand my horizon. So I ended up choosing to go to University of Pittsburgh for grad school. I went there for sports medicine, which you can go to a school and get your master's in athletic training, but I wanted to get my master's in sports medicine to kind of expand my my field, to kind of see what other jobs I can get with that. So yeah, I went to Pitt to get my master's degree, but before I got into Pitt, I also applied to get my license. In Pennsylvania, to become an athletic trainer, you have to have a certification and a license, which once you pass your BOC, which is your board's test, you can apply to get your license in the state of Pennsylvania, which different states require different like things. Like some states require certification and license. I know like California, you only need to be certified. So whatever state you go to, you will have to do the requirements to become an athletic trainer. So once I got my license, I actually started working as an athletic trainer my first year of grad school. So I started working at a local high school in Pittsburgh, and I started working there as a casual call, which means like typically like a sub, but because they had a part-time position at this high school that I was at, I did most of my time there. And then whenever like I wanted to pick up some extra hours, I would pick up wherever they needed an athletic trainer. So I did that, and I did that while I was in grad school. So I was in grad school for 2 years. And then once I got out of grad school, I did another year at the high school that I work at, at the high school that I did work at. And then I started transitioning to a full-time position. I kind of was looking at different spots of different places that I wanted to work in. So let's talk about like the different types of job settings that athletic trainers can go into. So there's a wide variety of different settings that athletic trainers can go into. People just typically know the regular like sports, like high school sports, middle school sports, college sports, and the pro sports, which are all also like settings. But you can also go into dance. You can go into industrial work. So industrial places, they hire athletic trainers to take care of like their employees. You can also go into like the clinical setting, so working with alongside of a doctor, working within like the surgery rooms and all that stuff. So you can do that. You can also I'm trying to think of what other settings you can go into. There's a lot of different settings, like physical therapist. You can work alongside a physical therapist. You can work alongside a lot of different people. So I would definitely say look into all those different realms of what you personally would want to work with. So I decided I wanted to work within like the sports settings because I love sports. So now I'm in the position that I'm at now, where I work with a large variety of sports ranging from football, basketball, swimming, wrestling, soccer, softball, track, cross country. I work with all the sports right now. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. And then once you become an athletic trainer and you start working within your field, you have to maintain certain courses to continue to have your license and certification, which those are called continuing education courses. So you have to take a minimum of 50, they're called CEUs, continuing education, and you have to take 50 every 2 years. So they're just like little courses to kind of keep you up to date with the research that is out right now on certain injuries, certain protocols. It's kind of like a wide variety of things to kind of keep you educated to what's new. And you take those courses every 2 years, within the 2 years, to maintain your certification. So yeah, that's like the main synopsis of how to become an athletic trainer. I'm not sure if I hit every point. I hit every point that was on my list, but if you guys have any more questions or have any comments about me personally, or even about athletic training as a whole, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so that was just a little bit about me and how I became where I am today. I work as an athletic trainer in Pittsburgh right now. So yeah, come back for another video. I don't know what it's gonna be about. It might be another vlog, I don't know, but like, comment, subscribe, and